Do you ever wonder why some books take off on Amazon while yours never really did? Well, in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what separates high-ranking books from the ones that stay invisible. And I'll take you through real book listings from our community, analyze what's working, see what's missing, and how small improvements can completely change your sales. And this video is part of a series where we share the lessons that we learned the hard way ourselves, so you can shortcut the process and finally start getting results you deserve with your Amazon KDP books. Alright, so let's get right into today's video. And in case you're new to the channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books on Amazon. And we also have a free Facebook group with over 230,000 authors in it. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we have helped over 300,000 authors publish their books on Amazon. So that's just a quick thing about us. And let's check the first listing here. So this is a listing that has a bestseller rank of 400,000. And what this basically tells us is that this book has gotten sales and is currently getting some sales, which is great, kind of refreshing to see. But we'll just see what we can do to further increase the sales of this book, get even higher conversion rates, higher organic rankings, and overall just better performance. So let's take a look at this. So let's start off by looking at the title and the subtitle. So it says Circle Loves Pie, a Pie Day story for kids. So short and clean and to the point, which is good, much better than keyword stuffing. So the one thing that's obviously missing for this title and subtitle is a long tail keyword. So this could have been a keyword like math activity book or something like that. This depends on exactly the exact niche you're trying to target with this book. And that could have really fit into the subtitle quite nicely. But since we don't have that in the title, we definitely want to make sure that this is optimized in your 7 backend keywords. That would be my recommendation for that. And let's take a look at the cover here. So the cover is quite sweet. We have a fun character, we have the symbol, and then some text. The one thing which I will say is that there's a lot of white on there. And I feel like if we can have the background be another fun color, I think I would just pop a lot more instead of just blending into the Amazon background. Let's just quickly take a look at the Self-Publishing Titans AI tool to see what our AI says about the title under improvements. So here it says improvement. The title's whimsical fonts and varying text colors, while fun, reduce readability at smaller thumbnail sizes, especially the embedded text with the pie characters. The author's name placement in small blue fonts at the bottom can be easily overlooked. So I guess this is kind of true when it's like small thumbnail size, kind of like what you see when you're in the Amazon mobile app. And then under opportunity, it says to boost performance, consider simplifying the font style for better clarity and positioning the author's name more prominently, adding a subtle visual cue tagline about Pi Day, or learning to clearly reinforce the book's educational and celebratory theme could also increase appeal and category relevance on Amazon. So just slight feedback. My main thing would be just adding some color to it. Maybe we can try like a yellow, kind of like from the hands, and then changing the hands colors, or some other color that could suit blue or red, but otherwise that's fine. And on the back cover here, what I don't see is some examples of the interior, which would have been kind of nice. So if this has activities in it, you could try having maybe 2 pages right at the top here and then some little bit less text at the bottom, but that way there can be some text that you think is important, but a potential buyer can also see exactly the kind of pages that are in the book. So that would probably help you with the conversions. And just one thing I want to quickly say, with any book that is currently getting sales, you want to make the changes kind of slowly over time so you can see and test how the changes are working. Because some changes might sound good, but then you implement them and they actually don't make an improvement. So you want to be able to see what changes make an improvement and what changes don't. Hopefully, obviously, all of the changes make an improvement, but sometimes not all of them do. So since you are getting sales and you have been since a long time, it looks like, since this was published in 2022, I would just make one change, wait a week or so, and then make the next change. Because if you make all the changes at once, you don't know everything that is improving it or not improving it. So just one more thought on there. But looking at the BSR chart here, we can see that you have consistently gotten at least a few sales, which is good. So well done on that. And for anyone new here, we are using the Self-Publishing Titans Chrome extension, the brand new one that we just released a few weeks ago here. And this is basically the all-in-one Chrome extension combining these prior 2 extensions. And this has our AI tools integrated in all the new features as well. So if you're new here, you can uninstall these 2 and then install this one. So let's look at the rest here. So under categories, we have children's non-religious holiday and children's math books. So that one is good. I feel like this category could be changed to something a little bit more applicable. Maybe something relating to math activity books, just to make it even more consistent. But we have a nice profile picture here, which is good. And then a nice long description about yourself, which is excellent. And we have a lot of reviews, which is good. So the one thing which I noticed on your paperback, there is no A+ content, but when going to the Kindle version, here we do have A+ content. So we definitely want to make sure that you also add your A+ content onto your paperback version. That will definitely help you get more sales. And the one thing I can say here on your A+ content for just a slight improvement is that I would show more of these kinds of pages and interiors earlier on. So this one right here doesn't really scream math to me besides some of these symbols. But when I see this, it's very clear that we have a nice simple math activity book that is related to pi. So I would show more of these pages. And then these pages right here, they're a little bit too small to see. So if you're not zooming in, you can't really see what this page is, and I can't really see what this page is. And if you're on a cell phone, it'll be even worse. So I would kind of change that. And then this page is fine. I guess you're showing that you have this in English and Spanish, which is really cool actually. But the thing I would do here to enhance this A+ content image here is actually make this into a lifestyle image where you can have like a 3D shaped book instead of just a flat cover, because not everybody is going to realize that this is supposed to be a book. Some people will just look at this and probably feel confused because it kind of just blends in with the design. And the other thing you could do here is have an English flag and then a Spanish flag, just make it even more clear. And for this one here, for example, I would just show even more of these pages instead of so much text and other design. Just make it really clean and simple and show these pages. So you could probably have about 8 pages fit on there and really make it clear. So that's one thing that I would change. And then this one right here, I feel like is not really needed. It doesn't add too much value. So I'd probably get rid of that or change it. The other thing you can also do is have some lifestyle images with kids holding the book, a teacher holding the book. So that could be a nice replacement actually for that. And then once again, just make sure you have that on your paperback. So we always want to have the A+ content for every single book type. Really, really important. So lastly, let's look at your description here. So we have bullet points, we have some paragraphs, which is great. So there can be a few small improvements on your description as well. So what I would recommend is having one sentence at the top here, something just about your book, and that leads into the description. And then right below that, have these 5 bullet points. And then I would have the rest of the paragraphs below the bullet points. And then here we have make math fun, which is fine. But I would also add on there like make math fun, get your book today or something like that. Just some call to action for someone to buy your book. But otherwise, I think you're on the right track. I think your overall listing is quite good. You also have a lot of reviews. Your ratings are great. So you've definitely done most of the things right. The critiques that I gave you are more smaller points. But I think if you do all these smaller points, they will also add up to bigger improvements and just help you do better with your organic rankings, better with even more sales. But once again, I highly recommend that you implement these changes slowly over time, just so you can see how each change does with your Amazon ads. If you're doing ads, are your conversions getting better? Are you getting better click-through rates? Are you getting more impressions? And then obviously more sales. I wish you best of luck and I hope that this was helpful, and let's check the next one. So here we have a Halloween book, and unfortunately it has not gotten any sales, but I guess it's also a very new book, so that is totally fine. So let's see what we can figure out here. So before looking at anything else, the first thing that really stuck out to me is that the cover is misaligned. So we have some background images, which we duplicated 4 times in the very back. And then we have this front one, but we can see here that on the left side is much more space than on the right side. And I'm not even sure why we have this image on top of these backgrounds. I would almost suggest just making this the entire cover. That would probably look much better. And I would just get rid of the gift edition here, just make that more clean. But I do like this image. I like the purple, that obviously fits to Halloween. The other change I would make is putting this Halloween codex at the top here and straight text so it's easier to read and not covering up this image. And then here the cryptogram puzzle book, I think that's fine. So I think if you make these changes, make that the entire image, place the text higher, I think you would actually have a pretty good looking cover. So I would definitely try that out. Looking at the back of your cover, good job for trying to show some examples. The only thing is that one can't even see what is on this page. So you need to make these a lot bigger so a potential buyer can actually see what is on that page. So that would be the other change I make. And then once again, I would probably just remove these pumpkins and make that purple color the entire background, just so it's more consistent with the front, and then just make these bigger. And the other thing you could do is maybe cut out half this page so you can have one really large one so it's really, really easy to read. That would be something that I would try out. So let's look at your title here. So Halloween Codex, easy and large print cryptogram puzzles for gifting and family get-togethers. So that is good. So overall, I think you did quite well in the title. The only thing I would check in our Chrome extension in the drop down here is looking for cryptogram puzzles versus cryptogram puzzle book, and then see which one is better in terms of estimated search volume, demand, and opportunity scores. And the way you do that is just typing in the starting keyword here, and then our Chrome extension will open up. And here we can see cryptogram puzzle book has an opportunity of 9, and cryptogram puzzles opportunity of 8. And then here, cryptogram puzzles for adults, opportunity of 9. So we can just see that there's slightly better keywords. And if you can have them exact match in your title, and if that's not possible, obviously you set them back in keywords. But we want to have exact match keywords in the exact order that they show up in the search suggestions. And that would be an improvement. But the title so far is okay. These are just improvements that would probably help you get higher conversions and better organic rankings. So that's something to keep in mind for your future books. So looking at this description here, we also have a lot of icons and bullet points. So it makes me question again if this was written with AI. So let's just quickly check. Okay, so mostly human, which is good. The only reason I say that is because when a description looks like it's written with AI, it will get less conversions and less sales because it just doesn't look as good as a natural looking description. And usually when there's a lot of icons, it has been written or edited by AI. So that's just one thing I'm not the biggest fan of. I prefer having just clean, straight to the point descriptions and only formatting it with just basic formatting. I would say one icon could be okay, but I don't even think that's necessary. And then the other thing I would suggest you do is change your bullet points. This is way too many. So 5 is kind of like the sweet and ideal amounts, and here we have probably about 10. So I would see if you can combine some of them or just delete the least important ones from there, and that would make it better. Some of these bullet points you can also turn into paragraphs below the top 5 bullet points, but I think that would be another improvement. I don't see any A+ content, but this was published recently, so maybe it's still pending, but it has been a little bit, so I'm guessing you didn't actually make it yet. So I would suggest you make A+ content, and for that, show some more interior pages. Just really nice and big. You can also have some lifestyle images with people holding the book in Halloween costumes or just something fun. I think just get creative and fun with the A+ content, especially because this is an activity book and Halloween themed. So I would definitely do that. But good here on having your profile picture, but we are missing a description about yourself or about your brand. So that's one thing you definitely want to do. And since this is a Halloween book, this will be quite competitive. These seasonal kind of niches, they can be really, really good, but also more competitive. And also the ad costs will be much higher. So for you to also have better results, especially as Amazon is getting more and more competitive, it'd be ideal for you to have some reviews on your book. So one thing you could check out is our ARC review service to get your first readers and potentially reviews, or any other alternative also fine, but I'd highly recommend you at least get a couple reviews just so it looks even better and more promising for potential buyers. But yeah, so that'll be my feedback for you, and I wish you the best of luck. So here we have the next book. So this is How to Be a Better Adult. Cool topic. I guess most of us can always be better. So this book is currently not getting any sales. So let's see what we can figure out here. So the first thing that stood out to me here is the cover. The cover just looks a little bit too plain and a little bit like it was created in Google Docs or Canva. And here we just have like a yellow filter over this image. On the top here we have a darker yellow. Then we have some side spacing on this black box. And just overall, it just doesn't really make it exciting or professional or high quality looking, unfortunately. I'm obviously not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to just be upfront about it, because obviously if you create a book usually takes a lot of time and effort to create. So your book would only deserve just the highest quality cover. So I would just highly recommend that you redesign this from scratch almost. Maybe you can reuse this image, but the rest I would really just start from the beginning. And if you're not quite sure how to do it or what to do, then you can look for some templates on Canva or buy some templates. Like ideally, if you have a budget of maybe even just $20, you can hire somebody on Fiverr to recreate this and do a really nice job for you. So let's look at your title. So here we have it in all caps, which I'm also not the biggest fan of, but that's my personal preference. Here you don't have all caps, but here you do. So that already looks a little bit less professional and less consistent. So that's one thing that I would never do and definitely want to change. And then here the subtitle says 5 keys to living adulthood with less regrets. So that's okay. Obviously the main thing missing here again is the main niche and the main keyword. And since this is kind of like a how-to book, this can definitely have a nice long tail keyword in the title or subtitle. So that's one opportunity that was missed. And I'm just noticing that this book is only 36 pages long. So just one recommendation, if you're making a how-to book, in most cases, it should probably be longer. This is definitely on the shorter sides of books that I've seen. And I've personally never purchased a book with only 36 pages, at least a how-to kind of book. So I would also see if we can beef that up with some pictures or some examples or some illustrations or some practices, anything like that, because if there's lessons in here, maybe you can have some questions on those lessons, some frequently asked questions, just anything just to give more value and more content and more pages. Because also holding a book that has a lot of pages just feels nicer versus like a tiny book with just a few pages. It probably feels less valuable. So that's one thing I would also consider. And then here on your description, we don't have any bullet points, unfortunately. We do have a lot of text, which is good, but now you want to definitely add your bullet points right at the top. And the other thing I would recommend you do is add some more styling to this. So here, the first paragraph is attached to the second one, so I just give it space, and same with the other paragraphs, just so it looks a little bit cleaner and neater. So every paragraph should just have its own spacing. It's also easier on the eye, easier to read, so I think that'll be an improvement. And then we don't have any reviews and no A+ content. So that's one thing I'd also change. So overall, I would feel like this listing is unfortunately quite a miss. But the good news is that obviously everything can be improved, everything can be fixed. And the other thing is that obviously Amazon KDP is not easy at all. There's a lot of steps involved, a lot of things that one needs to learn. So I definitely want to encourage you to keep going, just keep improving, keep learning. And we've all made these mistakes. So it's just a matter of getting better and just taking it one step at a time. And if you want to, please feel free to make all these changes as suggested and then resubmit your book. And I would love to continue helping you on your journey. So yeah, I hope this video was useful for you. If it was, please give this video a like, leave a comment down below to support this channel, and subscribe for more daily videos. Okay, bye.